Okay, so good evening, everybody. This is Rajdeep Bavalia, and today I am going to present on the topic Thoreau's influence on Gandhi, the evaluation of civil disobedience. Here are my academic details and presentation details, table of contents. Introduction to Thoreau's influence on Gandhi. So, the concept of civil disobedience is a deliberate refusal to obey unjust laws. As Prakasa highlights that the idea of civil disobedience, generally attributed to Henry David Thoreau, achieved a complete metamorphosis with Gandhi. So, civil disobedience challenges government actions that conflict with individual conscience. And Thoreau's original essay laid a moral foundation that questioned authority. So the evaluation from Thoreau's solitary act of conscience to Gandhi's collective movement is significant, and it marks the fusion of Western individualism with Eastern spiritual and political activism. So this historical progression illustrates how ideas can cross cultural and temporal boundaries, and Thoreau's writings provide a model for individual resistance that resonated deeply with Gandhi's context in colonial India. And purpose of this presentation is to explore the intellectual and practical journey from Thoreau's writings to Gandhi's methods. And the presentation aims to unravel the layered evolution of civil disobedience and interconnectedness of Eastern and Western thought. So Gandhi openly acknowledged the influence of Western thinkers like Thoreau. He credited Thoreau with offering scientific confirmation of his methods, and his writings bridged the gap between desperate cultures and ideologies. So Gandhi's adoption of Thoreau's ideas demonstrates the universal appeal of moral resistance, and this cross-cultural dialogue enriched both traditions. So here is my research question: that to what extent did Henry David Thoreau's writings on civil disobedience shaped Mahatma Gandhi's formulation and application of non-violent resistance, which is Satyagraha, during the struggle against British colonial rule, with the hypothesis that Thoreau's philosophical insights on individual conscience and resistance to unjust laws significantly influenced Gandhi's development of Satyagraha, transforming civil disobedience into an effective and mass-based tool against colonial oppression. Here are my literature review slides. So Henry David Thoreau and Transcendentalism. So Henry David Thoreau was a 19th century American philosopher, writer, and naturalist. His works have inspired generations through reflections on nature, society, and individual conscience. So Thoreau's life and writings provide a window into the values of simplicity and moral integrity, and he was a leading voice in the Transcendentalist movement. And Thoreau's beliefs were rooted in the idea that truth and beauty are found within nature and the individual. So this philosophy promotes self-reliance and challenges societal conformity. So the Transcendentalist movement emphasized personal institution and the importance of the natural world as a source of truth. uh, Emphasis on individual conscience. So Thoreau believed that true change comes when one follows their moral compass over societal expectation. He argued that obedience to unjust laws is a betrayal of one's inner ethics. So, according to Thoreau, the duty of an individual is to stand by their principles, even if that means to breaking the law. So his call for non-conformity has challenged generations to rethink their relationships with authority. So limited government and personal freedom. So Thoreau famously declared in his essay that I heartily accept the motto that government is best which governs least. So his words advocate for minimal interference in the lives of individuals. So Thoreau's this assertion challenges the legitimacy of overreaching governmental power. He believed that the best government is one that respects the freedom and autonomy of its citizens. So Thoreau is widely credited with introducing the concept of civil disobedience, and his writings set the stage for nonviolent resistance as a legitimate form of protest. So Thoreau's essay not only articulated a critique of government, but also provided a practical method for resisting injustice. And his ideas have been cited by numerous scholars as the philosophical backbone of later movements. And next slide. Thoreau's essay on civil disobedience. So Thoreau published on the duty of civil disobedience in 1849 in Concord, Massachusetts. So the essay emerged in response to the continuous issues such as slavery and the Mexican-American War. So written during a time of national turmoil, the essay was a radical call to individuals to resist immoral government actions. And Thoreau argued that individuals must prioritize conscience over compliance. So his stance was that obedience to unjust laws is not a moral duty. So Thoreau maintained that each person has a responsibility to act according to their moral judgment. So moral duty and personal sacrifice. So Thoreau believed that one's ethical responsibility may require personal sacrifice, including imprisonment. So his life and writings exemplify the readiness to endure hardship for one's beliefs. So Thoreau's willingness to accept the consequences of his actions underscored the moral weight of his ideas. And Thoreau's arguments contributed significantly to movements for social and political reform. And he stated, historians say that the chief cause of the abolition of slavery in America was Thoreau's imprisonment and the publication of his books. So the essay has been credited with laying the intellectual groundwork for major reform movements, including the abolition of slavery. And Thoreau influenced through time, influencing leaders and activists around the world. So today, civil disobedience remains a similar text in political philosophy and activism, and its principles continue to be cited and applied in diverse struggles for justice. So now Gandhi's early life and encounter with Thoreau. So born in 1869, Gandhi was a lawyer who faced racial discrimination in South Africa, and his early life experiences shaped his strong sense of justice and self-reliance. So Gandhi's formative years were marked by challenges that exposed him to a very systematic injustice and encounter with injustice. So in South Africa, Gandhi experienced very first hand the harsh realities of colonial rule. So this exposure spurred him to search for ethical and practical means of resistance. So facing radical discrimination, Gandhi witnessed the destructive impact of oppressive laws on everyday life. So Gandhi first spoke about Thoreau in the September 1907 issue of Indian Opinion, and he found deep inspiration in on the duty of civil disobedience, which validated his emerging ideas. So while in South Africa, Gandhi encountered Thoreau's essay, which resonated with his personal experiences. And the writing provided a framework for understanding resistance as a moral duty. Then Gandhi credited Thoreau as a teacher who confirmed his nascent ideas on passive resistance. So he acknowledged, "You have given me a teacher in Thoreau." So this statement reflects Gandhi's deep respect for Thoreau's philosophy. It also highlights the cross-cultural exchange of ideas that enriched his own political thought. And Gandhi integrated Thoreau's concepts into his evolving ideology of non-violence, and he combined these ideas with traditional Indian philosophies to create a unique approach. So, Gandhi's early writings and actions reveal a thoughtful synthesis of diverse influences, and by adapting Thoreau's call for individual conscience to the mass context of colonial India, he redefined resistance. Then evolution of Satyagraha, Gandhi's adaptation of civil disobedience. So first of all, definition of Satyagraha. So Satyagraha means a truth force and refers to non-violent resistance. So it evolved as Gandhi's response to oppressive systems and as an ethical way to confront injustice. So Satyagraha is rooted in the belief that truth and love are more powerful than violence. And Gandhi initially used the term civil resistance, but later adopted civil disobedience to capture its non-violent essence. And this shift reflected his evolving understanding of resistance. So the change in this uh, terminology signified a deeper commitment to non-violence. And Gandhi recognized that the moral clarity of civil disobedience better communicated the intent of his actions. And Gandhi's adaptation of Thoreau's ideas was anchored in the belief that unjust laws must be resisted through non-violent means. So his approach fused Western rationalism with Indian spiritual traditions. And Gandhi transformed the individual act of civil disobedience into a collective campaign. So his methods mobilized entire communities against colonial rule. So Gandhi's leadership turned very abstract ideas into practical strategies for large scale resistance. And Gandhi's adaptation of civil disobedience was directly influenced by Thoreau's writings. He even adopted variations of Thoreau's quotes in his own writings, such as for a government which imprisons any unjustly, the true place for a just man is also a prison. So this integration highlights the clear lineage between Thoreau's ideas and Gandhi's methods. Then global impact and enduring legacy. So Thoreau's and Gandhi's ideas have transcended borders. Gandhi's methods later also influence figures like Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela. So these effects of these philosophies can be seen in various struggles for justice around the world. And the concept of nonviolent resistance has become a universal strategy against injustice. It emphasizes moral authority and the strength of a collective conscience. So the nonviolent movements have successfully challenged powerful structure in various societies. So, and the writings of Thoreau and the actions of Gandhi have provided a model for a peaceful protest. So, and their ideas serve as a roadmap for confronting injustice without violence. So, this blueprint continues to guide modern social movements in their quest for justice. And the principles of civil disobedience offer a clear strategy for challenging immoral laws and policies. And the legacy of Thoreau and Gandhi informs debates about the role of a government and the rights of citizens. And their ideas encourage ongoing critical examination of authority and power structures. So the enduring appeal of this philosophy lies in their call for personal and collective responsibility. And Gandhi's innovative adaptation of Thoreau's ideas reshaped protest tactics globally, and his legacy lives on the non-violent movements that define modern civil rights struggles. So conclusion. So the journey from Thoreau's essay to Gandhi's Satyagraha illustrates the evolution of civil disobedience, and both thinkers emphasize the power of conscience and non-violence. So Thoreau's call for individual moral responsibility laid the groundwork for Gandhi's mass non-violent resistance, and their philosophy continued to inspire movements for justice around the world. And Thoreau's writings provided the intellectual foundation for challenging unjust laws, and his influence remains a cornerstone for civil disobedience. So the ideas presented in his essay have transcended time and borders, providing essential in various struggles for rights. And Gandhi's transformation of ideas into action. So Gandhi not only embraced Thoreau's ideas but transformed them into a dynamic movement. His method of satyagraha became a global beacon for non-violent resistance. So, by adapting Thoreau's concepts to the condition of colonial India, Gandhi created a method that mobilized millions. Uh, the philosophies of Thoreau and Gandhi continue to influence modern political thought, and their legacy informs a contemporary struggle for justice and human rights. And the evolution of civil disobedience from Thoreau to Gandhi illustrates the transformative power of ideas, and their work challenges us to prioritize conscience and truth over blind obedience. So, their enduring messages call on us to critically assess authority and act with moral courage. So here are my learning outcomes. So exploring this topic deepen my understanding of how peacefully resistance can drive social change. So studying Thoreau's and Gandhi's approaches shifted my view on the effectiveness of civil disobedience, and I have gained a clearer insight into the evolution of protest methods from individual acts to mass mobilization, and the historical continuity between Thoreau's writings and Gandhi's actions is striking. And the willingness of Thoreau and Gandhi to follow their conscience has motivated me to reflect on my own values. And their lives are testament to the power of standing up for what is right. So their courageous examples challenge us to evaluate our responsibilities as citizens in society. And I now appreciate how ideas travel and transform across cultural boundaries. And the dialogue between Western and Eastern thought enriches our understanding of resistance. And the study has instilled in me a belief that fighting injustice is a duty grounded in conscience, and it has reaffirmed the value of peaceful protest as a tool for change. So, through exploring these philosophies, I have learned that ethical resistance is not only about opposition but about building a better society. So, here are my references. Okay, thank you, everyone.
With my question, how do the cultural context of 19th century India shape the interpretation and the application of civil disobedience?
So, in the 19th century America, civil disobedience was seen as an individual's duty to stand against unjust laws. While in the 20th century India, it is evolved as a powerful tool for uniting communities against colonial rule. So American culture emphasizes on personal right, while Indian society stressed more on collective struggle for freedom. So these cultural changes shaped how each each society used civil disobedience to create change.
So, Radip, my question is in what ways can Thoreau's individuality's approach to civil disobedience be reconciled with Gandhi's mass mobilization strategy?
So Thoreau's approach focuses more on individual responsibility and moral action against unjust laws. And Gandhi took his ideas and expanded it to include entire communities in the fight against oppression. So, by inspiring individuals to act according to their conscience, Gandhi was able to mobilize mass support. And though both these methods work together to challenge injustice through personal and collective efforts. Okay, thank you, everyone.